God who is the head of my life, to Dr. Thorne, these assistant ministers, and to all of you, my Father's children. Amen. I greet you all in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now, I'm not going to be before you very long. I ask that you give me about 10 or 15 minutes of your time. Is that all right? Now, I go 1 second over 15 minutes. Just somebody come tap me on the shoulder and tell me to sit down. But I'm not going to worry your patience very long, but there is a word from the Lord. Amen. Amen. So if you have your Bibles, if you would turn with me to John's Gospel, right around the 5th chapter. John chapter 5. And we're going to read verses 1 through 9. And it reads, "After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and stirred up the water. Then whoever stepped in first after the stirring of the water was made well of whatever disease he had. Now a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he already had been in that condition a long time, he said to him, 'Do you want to be made well?' The sick man answered him, 'Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me.' Jesus said to him, 'Rise, take up your bed and walk.' And verse number 9 says, "And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed, and walked. And that day was the Sabbath." God's word for God's people. I can use for a subject on this morning, a day at the pool. A day at the pool. If I had to put a subtopic on this, it would be when your water has been stirred. Let us go to the throne of grace. Oh, gracious and all wise God, we pause right now. God, first of all, say thank you. God, right now it's preaching time. God, send down that spirit that makes preaching and teaching somewhat easier to do. God, speak now, for your servant and your children are listening. Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Amen. My brothers and my sisters, I don't know about you, but I know that I love and enjoy a good day at the pool. And whether you know how to swim or not, there's nothing like sitting at the pool enjoying yourself. When you're at the pool, it seems like all your stress and all your problems seem to fade away. It seems like all the problems that you had on your mind go away. It seems like that we really don't have a worry or care in the world at that particular moment, all because we are spending a day at the pool. But it's mighty strange how the human brain operates when we think about things, because whenever we left the pool for that day, it seems like all of our problems and our worries begin to come back to mind. It seems like they hit you a little harder than they were hitting you before you spent that day at the pool. A day at the pool can consist of many groups and types of people. And not to be stereotypical, but you have that one group of people who go to the pool to just lay by the poolside on the chairs and get a tan. Now, not to mess you up, but I mean, can't you do that at home somewhere? But if that's what you do, that's what you do. You have another group of people who go to let their kids run wild so that they're not getting on their nerves while they're trying to relax. 2, 3, 4, 5 hours can go by and you say, "Oh, I forgot about Johnny over there." Then you have that one group of people like me, and probably like some of y'all in here, who go to the pool, and the truth be told, we don't even know how to swim, yet we still go to the pool and get in the water. But one thing that I've noticed is that being at the pool, you can learn a lot about other people. You can meet new people. You find out that you all have a lot in common. Your children can meet new friends to play with while they're at the pool, and the adult folk meet grown adult folk that they can hang with on the weekends and while they're at the pool. Yeah. At the pool, you find out that it really is a small world. Despite the good times that we have at the pool, meeting new people and finding out that we have a lot of positive things in common, some of the people at the pool might be facing some of the same problems that you are facing, but yet you will never know. This brings us to our text on today. In John's Gospel, chapter 5, we find here in these verses that Jesus performed a miracle to a man who could not walk. This man was at the pool, and being at this particular pool, you were bound to meet somebody that you did not know personally, but yet y'all could have had the same condition. We know from the reading of our text and by research that this pool was called Bethesda. It has 5 porches. It is located in Jerusalem by the sheep gate, and the people who lay there are sick, blind, lame, and paralyzed. This pool having 5 porches means that it was a place of grace. And this word Bethesda means house of grace and mercy. This man was at this pool because he had this infirmity for 38 long years. And this man spent day after day at this pool trying to be healed. But then one day, Jesus stopped by and asked him, did he want to be healed? Then he told him to take up his bed and walk. My brothers and my sisters, whatever you are going to the pool for, God is getting ready to perform a miracle in your life, and He will be healed. There's 3 things I want us to understand this morning about spending a day at the pool. The first thing, you come in contact with people with some of the same conditions. When you go to the pool, whether it's your neighborhood pool, your friend's backyard pool party, or whether it's a pool at the beach, you still meet people that can be facing some of the same conditions and some of the same problems you are facing. It may seem like it's hard to open up to people who don't know as well, all because you're trying to keep them out your business, but I found it easier to open up to people who are kind of facing the same thing I am facing, because it gives me some reassurance that I'm not in this thing by myself. Can I get a witness? If we would look at our text in verse number 3, it tells us that in these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. This man who had this infirmity for 38 years realized that these people at the pool were facing some of the same conditions he was facing. Here in this verse, we see a scene of numerous people lying on the porches waiting for the water to be stirred. These people were waiting for a miracle to take place. And during this time, it was a custom for people with infirmities to gather at this pool. That's right. The second thing I want us to understand is that people will try to beat you in. That's right. At the pool, if you want to jump off the diving board, you have to be the only one on there in order for you to jump. If you're a child, you know you and your friends may be racing to see who can get to the diving board the quickest. So somebody is going to beat somebody into the pool. The same situation we see occurs in our text in verses 4 through 7. In verse 4, we find that an angel went down to stir up the water, and whoever made it into the water first was cured of whatever disease that they had. Then we are told in verse number 5 about the man who was there with the infirmity for 38 years. In verse number 6, Jesus then showed up on the scene, and he knew that this man had been in this condition a long time. So he asked him the question, do you want to be made well? My brothers and my sisters, sometimes God is going to ask you a question. And if we look at this question, Jesus' question can be translated into 2 forms. The first one being, do you want to accept healing in the flesh? And 2, he is asking the center part of him, will he be made whole in the spirit? When he asked this man that question, the man told him in verse number 7, sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me. We as Christians, we know how we are. If we see somebody else about to get a blessing, we're trying to jump in the way of their blessing. All because we want to receive our stirred, and finally, you will see a miracle take place. In our text, the people at the pool were laying there waiting for a miracle to take place so that they could be healed of their disease. In verse 8 and 9 of our text, we see that the miracle took place and this man could walk again. Jesus told this man to take up his bed and walk. The man took up his bed and walked, and Jesus tells him to take up his bed and walk because he wanted him to show that he has received his healing. As I get ready to take my seat, we need to understand that spending a day at the pool, our water will be stirred. God is going to perform a miracle in our lives. Whatever may be holding you down, God is telling you to take up your bed and walk. It might be depression holding you down. God is telling you take up your bed and walk. It might be sickness holding you down. God is telling you take up your bed and walk. It might be hardships holding you down. God is telling you take up your bed and walk. What I heard somebody say, I stepped in the water and the water was cold. It chilled my body, but not my soul. Is there anybody in the church that went to the pool? When you went to the pool and your water was stirred, if you step in the water and be healed, what I heard the songwriter say, I came to tell you what Jesus said. He said, repent of your sins and be baptized. Lord, I'm so glad that Jesus told us to take up his bed and walk. If I could use the spiritual imagination for just one moment, and I'm going to get out your way, I bet this man thought to himself, I've had this infirmity for 38 long years. I've been on this mat for a long time, but then Jesus stopped by here and he healed my body. These same legs that I couldn't walk with, I can walk now. Is there anybody in this church that got up off the mat? Can you move right now? But I heard the songwriter say, I am free. I am free. Praise the Lord. I am free. No longer bound. No more chains. My soul is resting. It's just a blessing.